Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. So much for coming on a little bit earlier today, right? Oh man. Well, I tried. Anyway, let me get my slides up. They're not ready, but that never stopped me before. Okay. There we go. Hey, Black Queen. Mary H was here first. Hello to Marina Adams, Josie Ladies Health Blog. Oh, that's interesting. Nothing like a healthy lady. There we go. Yeah, nothing like a healthy lady. Ask the newly minted Duke of Edinburgh. Look at that. I'm starting already, right? Okay, so you can see I just kind of slapped this thumbnail together. This is I didn't even finish the title, did I? I didn't even finish the title. Oh well. Suddenly I felt the urge to hurry up and get on here as I saw the clock was ticking away, but that's okay. Let me see. Harry and Meghan news, Prince William's temper. I'll just say the list. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the list because I don't want, at least in my opinion, I am not inclined to associate anything with our faves and that person and that list because there's enough false equivalencies being thrown out there every day. You know what I'm talking about? Every day in the tabloid media, they find some kind of way to try to associate the Duke of Sussex with his uncle. And I don't see that there is a connection there. So if you're into that list, then this is probably not the place for you because I don't want to I don't want to spend a lot of time with that that association, no matter how loose and vague. You know, by the weekend that the Rangers are going to do their best to try to find some connection that does not exist. So I do not want to aid and abet in that type of thing. Uh, let me see. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, that was just one more thing I needed to do. Oh, wait. Did I do that? Uh, oh, yeah. Plus more. Okay. Plus more. There we go. Plus more. Explanation point and save. Now, does that appear here? No, it does not, but that's okay. So I got that done. And is there more? Nope. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think we're good. I got the troll spray on. Uh, praise the Lord. Okay. And okay. Oh, I know what else I wanted to do. Sorry about that. Let me just do this. And okay, now streaming. Come and join us. How you spell conversation? Conversation. Oh, I got it. And yeah, that's it. And a blue heart. Where's my blue heart? Okay, never mind. No blue heart. Okay, got it. All right, Sandra Gonzalez, I'm sorry. Let's see. Lydia Washington, thank you for being here. Reba Henderson. Fancy, Yalibi, welcome. Mackenzie, howdy. Carol, um, Compton, Cali, girl, good. Thank you for being here. All right, so looks like the gang's back together. Um, Let me just go to the next slide here. Okay, so you all do know, you all do know that one of the biggest shows that they had on that old legacy channel, that legacy network, should I say, CBS, was 60 Minutes. And most watched TV shows of the year. At the end of every year, Michael Snyder puts together a list of the most watched TV broadcasts and networks. We talk about streaming so much that it's easy to forget Americans still spend more time watching live TV on broadcast and cable. Now, see, I wouldn't have thought that was the case. Hi, Susie Q. I thought we would have moved over to streaming everything, but no, that hasn't happened yet. There's still a lot of people that are watching broadcast television. And to be honest with you, growing up, CBS was known as the old folks network. And now that I'm older, I tend to gravitate towards CBS. So it seems like our um, our older family folk, they knew what they were into. They knew what they were talking about. CBS is the place to be. So and 60 minutes for a television magazine news show, 60 minutes, the US version. No offense to people in Australia, but that thing is crap that they have. But the US version of 60 minutes, it has year after year, but even before streaming, even before cable, 60 Minutes has been one of the more highly rated, highly decorated television shows ever. And it's one of the longest running things on television. I mean, it's been on for over 50 years. So um, I would say that, yeah, I trust 60 Minutes. I really do. Um, Not to say they always get it right, but I trust 60 Minutes. So, is it any wonder that that is where Harry would appear? Now, Bloomberg, that's where the list comes from. 2024 Hollywood predictions: consolidate or crumble. After a quiet year for deals, media industry experts predict major companies will merge or shut down streaming services. A few other tidbits, and here's where Harry comes in. NBC was the most watched broadcast network last year, narrowly edging out CBS, but neither one is as popular as Netflix. Ha! Neither is as popular as Netflix. Isn't that something? Could you imagine in could you imagine ever that Netflix would be more popular than a legacy broadcast network like CBS or NBC? 60 Minutes episode with Prince Harry was the most watched news program of the year. That's why I'm saying it like Oprah Winfrey. The most watched news program of the year was Prince Harry on 60 Minutes. Well, bonsoir to you, Apato. Bonsoir, Baron Squatty. Baroness Squatty. Bonsoir to you too. Let's see. HBO's ratings fell 34% last year as all premium channel networks pushed their viewers to streaming. Well, there's no wonder there. Everybody's cutting the cord here in the US. People are leaving cable television in droves. So I remember when I turned in my cable box, I remember being in the UPS store where they said to return it, and there was a mountain of boxes and remote controls. They did not even bother to try to package them for shipment. They threw them in a pile in the corner, and that it was like a mountain. It was like a mountain. It reminded me of Thomas Markle Sr.'s stomach. Remember that photo of him and that where he's kind of like, yeah. Why am I starting already? Why? Why? But I can show you better than I can tell you. But that's what that pile of cable boxes and remote controls remind me of. It reminded me of Thomas Markle Sr.'s tummy, where there was like this huge mound. Oh, okay, okay. Now the hard part is trying to figure out which photo do I want to demonstrate this my very vivid imagining. Oh man, okay, so not that one. Definitely not that one. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to do either one. I'm just using that as an example. That was how people had turned in their old cable boxes. It just reminded me of okay, I'm looking for a photo right now. There we go. Huh? Now you can picture it, right? Why is his shirt nasty? But now you can picture it, right? Uh just imagine that tummy being a selection of cable boxes, and you get my point. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. Why does it not surprise me that his shirt is nasty, huh? Why does not I'm just not surprised by that. Not in the least. The fact that his shirt is nasty. Okay, let me stop because that man ain't doing well. And if something happened to him tomorrow, I will be very upset with myself. So I don't take back anything. I mean, I take that back. Let me see here. Okay. Hmm. I'm looking for my favorite one and I don't see it. All right. All right. So anyway, let's bypass that. I'm through with it. I'm through with it. Plus, the more I look at that nasty shirt, I'm starting to itch. So, time to go. All right. So long, Thomas. Now, take a look here. Take a look here. I know that's just tacky of me, right? The Great Escape. Omid Scobie is spotted in LA after his book Endgame bombed, reignited a race row, and launched vicious attacks on Kate, King Charles, and Prince William. Uh, would we call that a success? I'm not sure. Anyway, the author, who is from East London, has been spotted out and about in LA. Let me see. Omid Scobie's new book. Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to show you the pictures of Omid because he has been papped. Okay, he has been papped, and I don't want to share those pap photos of Omid because I am rather fond of young Omid. I think he's doing the Lord's work in his own way. So, yeah, I'm just going to. Yeah, I'm gonna bypass that. But yeah, so he was spotted in LA. Now let me see if I can zoom into this small print. So I can see what it says there. Uh oh, okay, I think I can manage that. Let me see. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. Can you all see that? Okay, now I can. So Omid has been pictured in LA after his explosive book Endgame caused a storm after reigniting a royal race row. Notice they keep saying that as opposed to the other stuff. They throw that out there first. The book, which was published at the end of November, discussed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's move to Montecito, California, after they stepped down as working members of the royal family, but sold just under 6,500 copies in Britain. That is pretty bad. That is pretty bad. But it was an unprecedented, and that is, if that number is accurate, there was an unprecedented amount of vitriol against Omid Scobie. And it was as though they took out full paid ads to discourage people from reading the book. And of course, as a man of color, um, supposedly, allegedly going after the English rose, I'm sure that didn't help. I bet you there's a lot of reasons why the book hasn't done so well. Um, I mean, it made every point that I wanted to, check off, save for a few. But Amazon, let me see, is currently at just 5,777 in Amazon's Kindle store. Although it's a bestseller in categories such as media studies, it also rehashed a row which first came to light in 2021. See what I mean? They are stuck on this idea of a race row. I'm not thinking about that all the time. Uh, anyway, I'm not going to bother with that. You all know how that played out. So I am going to just bypass that and continue. Let's see. Ulevi says, I can't believe he made a child as beautiful as Meghan. Oh, you're talking about Mount St. Thomas Markle? I try not to think of it, Ulibi, because the idea of Thomas Markle and conception causes fluid to rise in the back of my throat. So, in order to keep the acid in my digestive system in check, I try not to think of anything that you know what I mean? I try not to think of that kind of stuff. Let's see, Baron. I just noticed Thomas Markle is on a bed without sheets or proper paper. Also, if he had a stroke, where are his IVs? This is also staged, allegedly. Let me take another look at that. Oh, is that it? Okay. Now, I'm gonna have to move you out of the way so I can see that. Okay. Oh yeah, there's no sheet or anything like that. He's on one of those hard plastic uh you know what I mean? Like when a person is in a collision, how they just yeah, I see what you mean. And where did this alleged thing take place? That's what I'm wondering. It's not this and wait a minute. What does that say? Under the gurney, does that say staged? See that? Does that say staged? It looks like the black lettering on the bottom of it says staged. I'm sure it doesn't. I'm just kidding. I'm in a very good mood. I'll tell you why very soon. Let me see here. Black Queen says, Baron, today is Susie Q's birthday. Happy birthday, Susie Q. Are we going to have to dance off the birthday? As a matter of fact, I think we shall. Susie Q's birthday. How lovely. Happy birthday, Susie Q. And many happy returns of the day. Let me see here. Hello. Um, okay. Here goes. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Girl, the Duchess of Sussex won. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Janelle's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, I. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Black Queen, for that. And I wish I would have known. I really do think for the continued support to all of these platforms, our Susie Q deserves a proper birthday card. So if my fragile, delusional mind can remember, I'm going to have to work on that. All right. But thank you very much. And again, happy birthday, Susie Q. So, anyway, I'm not going to show any pics of Omid. He deserves his privacy. But Omid was spotted in LA. Looks like he was en route to a health club or something like that. And anyway, he looks good. He kind of seems like he belongs in LA. And I hope for his sake that he moves out there. I hope he can find some work and relocate out there because I want Omid to be safe. I don't want him in harm's way. So okay. Yep. I hope so. Oh, you mean Omid's book? People will read it one day. Well, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's a good book. It's a good book, and Omid has nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed. They spent days trashing that book. They really did. They spent days trashing that book, and Omid is not an international figure where his stature would overcome anything like that. So um, outside of the Sussex squad, I would be interested to know how many people even knew of the book, and well, not just the Sussex squad, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I would be interested to know how many people are aware of Omid or any of the other royal reporters. Yeah, okay. So moving on. Moving on. Now, this smirking assassin, smirking face of disdain, I am going to make one of my edited videos based upon the Byline Times. So if you don't get around to it, not to worry, I will probably have that up tonight. There will be limited editing for that video, but I will post it very soon. But yes, this is an article from today. So they have been like, what do you call it? They have been tweeting some of the articles from the past month. And so I've been waiting for something new. I mean, any update will do because I don't want this person to try to slide back into um, consciousness. You know what I mean? I'd rather he stay where he is because he does a lot of damage with his type of reporting. So I'd rather him not make it back on television at all. But right here in 2023, there it was. 2023 was a big year for Byline Times. We thought we'd take some time to share some of the major inroads the paper made into exposing wrongdoing, both the egregious and the bizarre. In the UK and elsewhere, as editor Hardeep Matharu and exec editor Peter Jukes told supporters this week, we faced off again the aggressive lawyers of deep-pocketed public figures, endured direct physical threats to our staff, and chased leads that other papers wouldn't dare touch. As always, our brilliant network of supporters carried us along the entire way. So thank you to everyone who read, shared, subscribed, and donated last year. That includes you all here at the Sussex Squad, because I really do believe that they got a couple $1,000s in donations for their legal fund from the squatties. I really do believe that. You made it all, I'm sorry, you made all this happen. We know that 2024, a major election year, both at home and abroad, will bring a whole new set of challenges and opportunities. But first, a look back at some of our biggest stories of last year. So here it says number 10, Piers Morgan's statement on Prince Harry phone hacking case. Annotated. And then, of course, number 9, BBC chairman donates tens of thousands of pounds to right-wing group funding that is criticism of BBC. Remember, I told you guys the right wing wants the BBC discredited, and they want them gone. William, who seems to be a Tory at heart, lashed out at the BBC when he made that bizarre speech about his mother being disturbed or whatever, you know what I mean? And a few other things, like the fact that William and Kate, the Carol thing, is on what, ITV or whatever. Anyway, they have it in for the BBC. The BBC has been threatened. The BBC has have been trashed, verbally trashed, should I say, by a lot of people that tend to lean right wing. So watch that space. Okay, number 8, dead cats and transphobic lies. Number 7, Russia and U.S. press. The articles and CJR. Let me see. CJR didn't publish. Who is CJR? Oh, well. And the PPE firm, number 6, PPE firm, subject to 122 million recovery action from UK government, has only 4 million pounds in assets. Number 5, cropped out, the curious tale of the BBC, Brexit, and our missing vegetables. Okay. Number 4, Harry takes a stand for us all. If there's supposedly policing society, who on earth is policing them? And number 3, Queen has secret agreement with Murdoch paper to spare Harry hacking trial ordeal court hears. Oh, yeah. Okay. I believe that was that that the what do you call it? That the Queen wanted Harry to pursue, right? Harry wanted Harry to pursue legally a case against what do you call it? The Murdoch group for the phone hacking. And I believe that was blocked by Charles and his cronies. And then Laura Kunzberg, time as BBC political editor, that is, has been a catastrophic systematic failure. And lastly, GB News investigation, Dan Wooten unmasked. So number 1 was Dan Wooten unmasked? Okay. So anyway, I'll do a short video about that, and I will share that later. Now, here is some good news. Action Guide for Building Socially Connected Communities, designed for local leaders and change makers. The interactive guide features a 6 step process to engage partners and community members in implementing strategies to foster social connections. With this interactive toolkit, we invite you to bring together local leaders and members within your community to co create effective, sustainable social connection action plan. Join us as we work to build connected communities across the nation. So they are partnering um, oh my goodness, they are partnering with Archwell. They are partnering with Archwell. Sorry, I went into a little bit of a brain freeze that time. Action Guide for Building Socially Connected Communities. So you can see right there, they are, let me see, Einhorn Collaborative. There's the Healthy Places by Design Foundation for Social Connection, which is this group, and the Human Flourishing Program, which is associated with the, let me see, Harvard's Institute for Quantitative Social Science. Wow, I can't believe I could see that. Uh, okay, so take a look here. Oh, and I got a sound bite to play for you. So, what I love about this is the fact that the Archwell, as you know, Archwell has been roundly criticized because of the uh, less than spectacular funding, which of course is not a thing because they have plenty money in the bank. I think they have what, like $10 million in the bank or something like that. Anyway, Harry and Meghan are very selective about where their money is going, and they have partnered with other people as well. So the Archwell Foundation is doing extremely well in spite of the hate mongering. But like right here, Foundation for Social Connection. The Foundation for Social Connection is proud to be on the Arch partnered on the Archwell Foundation Welcome Project. Read the full impact report from Archwell and learn more about the Welcome Project here. Several of our scientific advisory council members were recently highlighted in an article about their work to address loneliness in San Francisco, California. We are inspired by their work and the work of so many of our incredible partners. Read the article here. So I do invite you to go over to their website, and that is the Foundation for Social Connection. Now, the soundbite that I have from you comes from Kevin Love. He's a basketball player. So let me get that up for you. I've never heard of him before today, but I like him already. Kevin?
We know that loneliness and isolation is a big issue right now for young people. I can relate because growing up, there were times where I felt like I was the only one going through something difficult. And I wish I would have known that everyone is going through something. We are proud to announce that the Kevin Love Fund curriculum was included in a newly released action guide focused on social connection strategies that addresses the Surgeon General's report on the epidemic of loneliness. To access the action guide, go to actionforconnection.org.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so again, that is Kevin Love. And as a responsible person, he's doing this public service announcement. TCC son. Hi, TCC son. Um, I'm not sure, but anyway, let me just tell you guys, TCC son has been very helpful in my current predicament. And I want to thank you, TCC son. I sent a direct thanks, but anyway, I'm sure everything is going to work out, and I appreciate your intervention. And yeah, I'm not sure how much more I can say than that. So thank you again. And like I said before, I am almost without words. I was kind of speechless, but thank you so much for rolling up your sleeves and getting involved. Um, yeah, I'm at a loss for words. So anyway, don't want to say more than that, but thank you a million times over. So, and some more good news. Some more good news. What's that, Yulibi? I feel relieved that Woo Woo has vanished. The same relief I experienced when Trump lost the election. Yeah, he's such a bully. He's such a bully. And just like so many other people that go to the right wing, did I say right? I did say right. That goes to the right wing. I wasn't sure how that came out. They go to the right wing. I I it's very deliberate because they know that they will find some very over the top, very bullying type of support on the right wing if they can just find some way to identify with the cause on the right side, on the alt right uh, side of things. If they can find a way to hitch their wagon to theirs, then they will get the type of radical protection that they need from people that would likely cancel them. That's why they keep talking cancel culture. Well, the truth is, some of the people that have been ostracized deserve it. Some of them deserve to be ostracized. I don't like to be the one to stand in judgment, but there are some really malicious, nasty people out there. And given all of the things that we have learned from the Byline Times and Byline Investigate, I mean, come on. I don't like to judge people. I don't feel qualified to do that. However, I will say that where Woo Woo is concerned, Woo Woo has been accused, and that's all he has been, is accused of some pretty dreadful things. And when I think about Meghan pregnant, right? Harry expecting a child, and they're recently married. Their marriage was still pretty new, and they are in Frogmore, literally trying to fend off quietly and discreetly fend off all these attacks from the tabloid media, and then Wooten knows that they're planning to leave because it appears as though it was leaked from Kensington Palace. And with all of that going on, Daniel Wooten, who is said to have, caused a lot of problems for Carolyn Flack, or has been, one of the main features of her issues, I say discreetly, that person just needs to go away. That person really needs to go away. And so I don't mind at all seeing that person go away. Again, I don't like to stand in that type of judgment of another human being because everyone has a story. But he seems to be one of the most heartless people that has ever been on television. One of many, by the way. And they all seem to be those right wing, alt right people. So, anyway, let's go on with the good news here. Speaking of good news, thank you, TC Son. Okay, so excited to announce that Patrick J. Adams will be presenting this Sunday at the Golden Globes. Oh, by the way, TC, see, you get a bell or two. There we go. So, so the Golden Globes, will feature Patrick J. Adams. Can you stand it? Now, if you have Patrick J. Adams, I know the only thing that would really shock you guys is if our Duchess showed up on stage. I wish I could tell you that was the plan, but I cannot. Okay, here goes. Dun-dun! Suit star Patrick J. Adams and Gabrielle Mock to reunite. To reunite. That's right. They are both going to be on stage to present at the Golden Globes. So, after the resurgence of Suits on Netflix, Patrick J. Adams and Gabriel Mock, I hope I'm saying his name right, two of the show's stars are set to reunite. The pair are slated to present at the 81st annual Golden Globe Awards on Sunday, January 7th, 2024. Organized by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the annual Golden Globe Awards acknowledge remarkable accomplishments in motion pictures and television from the following year. Comedian and actor Joe Coy will host the 2024 ceremony. Amanda Seyfried, Will Ferrell, Michelle Yeoh, Angela Bassett, George Lopez, and more are also set to present. Adams and Mock portrayed corporate lawyers Mike Ross and Harvey Specter, respectively. I'm sorry about that. On Suits, USA Network legal drama that ran for 9 seasons from 2011 to 2019. Rick Hoffman, Meghan Markle, Gina Torres, and Sarah Rafferty also starred. Variety reported that other cast members from the hit drama were also invited to present at the Golden Globes. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm not even going to speculate what that means. But others were invited. Others were invited. I'm sure that's all it means. Yes, Maggie Howe, but we won't let that destroy our joy, right? We won't let that destroy our joy. But I get it. I'm the same way, Maggie. I already have plotted in my mind what's going to come out of those terrible rags. But the good news is that those rags are in a state of decline. Thank goodness. But yeah, so this is good news. And for anyone who is a fan of Suits, I'm sure you'll all be looking forward to it. Let's see, Baron, were they the producers on Suits? I don't know if they were producers, but they starred in Suits. So, yeah, I don't know if any of them had any of the production rights or anything, but yeah, they starred on Suits. And let me see. Oh, this is what I was trying to do. Hello, everyone. I was listening on TV while also listening to DOS on the phone. DOS is just finishing. Oh, okay. Let me see here. Nurse, wife, mother. Hey, y'all. Hey to you too. Okay. Thank you. Lydia Washington said they produced the later episodes. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. And Nithalando Niandeni says, hello to a lot of people. So I'll leave that up there for a second. I'm going to go back and see if there's anything I missed here. Okay. Okay, British media. Oh, yeah, okay, I saw that one already. All right, so this is good news. And I tell you what, one of the news groups that has been keeping track of the Suits climb back up the ladder of success has been Variety. They have been reporting on the resurgence of the interest in Suits the whole time. They have been keeping us abreast of all of the stats when it comes to Suits. So right here it says the Suits buzz continues. Gabriel Mock and Patrick J. Adam, who portrayed Harvey Specter and Michael Ross, respectively, on the USA Network series, will be presenting at the 81st Annual Golden Globe Award on Sunday. Suits, produced by UCP, originally aired for 9 seasons from 2011 to 2019. Adams and Mock starred alongside Rick Hoffman, Meghan Markle, Gina Torres, and Sarah Rafferty. Sources tell Variety, here we go. Sources tell Variety that other cast members were invited to present as well. Although the legal drama was successful during its initial run, even launching a spinoff, Pearson, it re-entered the cultural conversation this year. Well, this year, when the first 8 seasons began streaming on Netflix, it was already available on Peacock. Since it arrived on the streaming giant, it topped the charts for multiple weeks, even breaking a record with the most ever #1 appearances on Nielsen's streaming top 10 chart. And like I said, Variety has been reporting about that ever since. So there you go. I usually don't watch award shows, but I'm going to try to watch that one. Yeah, I'm going to try to watch that one. I'm going to try not to be on while that's on. But if by chance I do, maybe we can just all hang out and watch it together. I might think about that. Okay. That would be fun, actually. Well, or I don't know, maybe come on after they present. Yeah, or yeah, come on. Well, come on. You know what I mean. Maybe in the middle of their presentation, or they will be on in the middle of Royal Sussex. That would be fun. Oh, you think so, Lorna Williams? Interesting. Interesting. Susie mom says, I love Mike and Rachel and Harvey. Here, here. Okay. All right. So there's that. That is good news for sure. So look to see the dynamic duo. Wow, those are some finely tailored suits. Do you see the sheen on that suit? Look at the sheen on what's his name's tie. You see that? Those are some finely tailored suits. You can tell the quality is in those suits. Okay, now, I know, didn't that make your stomach feel funny? As I said, I'm not going to linger on this topic because it's disturbing. Also, I don't want to even inadvertently or whatever create any kind of association with those names and our faves. So we know that the list is out and it's out. Names are popping up. Some are not a surprise at all. And yeah, and that's that. So may it cause as much embarrassment for that blubbery person right there as possible. So that's that. And in spite of everything, I just want you to see the real association. They keep bringing up Harry's name and making an association like that as though they both have done something when it really, this is the person right here that made his mama pay out 12 million pounds to somebody he never met for something he certainly didn't do. And for some reason, they keep trying to lump Harry into that as though he has anything to do with anything, um, especially on those state occasions. But there he is in the car with Will and Kate. There he is leaving the St. George Chapel with Will and Kate. And again, there he is in the car with Will and Kate. You can see Kate's face in the back seat there. William is hidden behind the A pillar. Um, but yeah, that's the real association. They are the ones giving aid and comfort to that person, not the Sussexes. Okay, so moving on. Prince William was notably short fused and can be a bit of a shouter, expert says. Palace Insider have previously claimed Prince William can be a bit of a shouter. Royal expert Robert Jobson writes with the senior royal being known to get into arguments with Kate. Ooh, did not know that. I mean, of course, I heard that before, but I didn't know that it was such a known thing. And of course, the future king has a notably short fuse and has been known to blow his lid. That's what happened to his hair. To blow his lid a number of times, an expert claims, with William and Kate having reportedly had heated rows. Robert Jobson, a journalist who regularly covers the royals, says aides have previously told him the prince can be a bit of a shouter, lifting the lid on their relationship. He wrote for Mail Online that a former courtier, once shared, they both have quite extreme mood swings, just as Diana did. Oh, they just have to throw her in there, don't they? She could be your best friend one minute and the next your worst enemy. Are they still speaking of Diana? Why did they have to throw Diana into that? Anyway, Graham Smith said, this isn't news. He has been called petulant, capricious, even hostile, while Damian Thompson of The Spectator said William has an abrasive attitude towards staff who are insufficiently deferential, or catch him in a bad mood, so he stands accused of workplace bullying. Wait a minute. Wait. I thought Meghan was the one that the staff was afraid of. You see what I mean? The truth is, the staff was likely, allegedly, afraid to show humanity to Meghan and by default Harry. And because of the petulant egomaniac, the staff at Kensington Palace found themselves stuck between a rock and a petulant prince. And that is why they were brought to tears. It wasn't because of Meghan, it's because they were afraid of him. And that is why they came out with those bullying claims before the Oprah Winfrey, is because they thought for sure that that was going to be brought up. And so better to get ahead of it. And of course, nobody questions the timing of that report. Nobody questions the timing of it. Leg says, remember the coronation, that person was trying to stay close to Harry, but Harry was too smooth and slowed down so he could go first. H avoided that photo op. Thank you, Legs. Yeah, that was what they wanted. They want to keep trying to make that association. And I don't want to have anything to do with it. That's why I say, if you all are looking for a discussion of the list, this ain't the place, because I do not want that association. So, and that is something that they will probably try to do this week. They, of course, being the tabloid media, they'll try to find some way to say that's just like such and such, such and such. And I'm not going to bite. Hypertension has hypertension. Wonder. I wonder. I know somebody took a 9 iron to him when he was a kid. That I know. I would say that part of his temperament may have developed because of that very suspicious looking scar over his eye. I would say that that is something that may have, you know, may affect his judgment. I mean, you can see it clearly right there on that frontal lobe. Is that the temporal frontal lobe or whatever? See that? See that little line, that fusion going across there? That right there may be the root of that temperament. Although he was a you know what before that, he was always hard to handle, always petulant, always a bit moody and unpredictable. So that is just his core personality, and it always has been. You know, they say sometimes you can just look at a kid and you can see which direction they're going. And Diana said Harry was very observant. Harry didn't talk much. He would watch people. He observed. He learned a lot just from watching people. So their personalities are vastly different. Harry likes to observe um, what other people are doing. And this person right here likes to be the center of attention while being standoffish at the same time. He just wants to be celebrated for doing the least. Let me remind everyone that William was over 40 years old before he finally found a project of his own. It wasn't anything to do with mental health or anything like that. He decided to go with environmental stuff, which is the same thing his father had been talking about for years. Kate decided to go the children route. Nothing new about that. There's a lot of, grown adult women who could use intervention at other stages in life besides, raising their children, and like career orientated women or women in poverty and such. Because as they say, when you lift a woman out of poverty, you can lift the entire community. When you educate a woman, you educate the entire family. So there's a lot of things. The safest thing to do is to just say, "Oh, I'm for the children. I'm for the children." Well, isn't that every first lady of the United States, right? That I mean, not to criticize first ladies, but it's always the safe thing. Meghan went to a food shelter, a food kitchen, went to the hub kitchen, and just think how many people the Sussexes could have helped had they still been there. How much of a better relationship there would be with the Commonwealth if the Sussexes were still there. But instead, the constant leaks and briefs and abuse from the press drove them away. And at the heart of that were these two people: bitter jealousy, right? Anger, resentment, all of that is what drove the Sussexes away. And now they are benefiting from the idea that the Sussexes are nowhere around and they have this favorable media coverage because of the leaking and the briefing and the constant attacks. So if that's what it takes to build yourself up, I'm telling you, fate has a way of dealing with these things. Their fall from grace is going to be epic. And I, for one, cannot wait to see it. I really cannot wait to see it. You know how they say you shouldn't wish anything bad on anybody. I can't wait to see it. I really can't. I'll be here for it. So anyway, thank you so much, Lex, for your comments. And as always, thank you for being here on Royal Sussex. Oh, let me see. Let me see this why Will hates Meghan. She paid for herself and doesn't have to take abuse from an entitled tantrum adult man child. Kindly get your finger out of my face. Right? Right. As a matter of fact, I remember when Maya Angelou was on Oprah that first time, and she said that as a child, she said, as a child, I was mute. I wouldn't talk. And my teacher said, do you like poetry? And I just shook my head, and she said, you don't like poetry. You can't like poetry. You cannot like it unless you speak it. And she said she didn't want to hear. She just ran from her teacher. And every place she went, she said that teacher seemed to pop up. You don't like poetry. And she said at one point, her teacher uh, got up in her face and put a finger in her face. And I remember that because it was kind of funny the way she told it. But she told Oprah, she said, and you know, you don't put your finger in my face. And she said, I'm telling you, that's the first law. You don't put your finger in my face. And that is every time I hear or see someone put a finger in somebody's face, I always think Maya Angelou. But she told the truth. You don't put your finger in my face. Thank you, Lex. Church Nelly says that's why Princess Diana threw herself down the stairs when she was pregnant with Peghead. Peghead. She knew that was coming. Mother knows best. You know, I I was just thinking about um, Diana. I was just thinking about her in regards to how they really set her up. The whole wedding and everything was such a setup. And my heart cries out for that teenage girl who was coerced into that relationship. You know, what does any of us know at 18, 17, 18 years old? What does any of us know? And there was nobody that was there to say otherwise, like this is a bad idea or anything. Nobody, there was nobody there to help her. And whatever Diana has said or done or anything, as far as I'm concerned, it does not matter. Um, because being in the situation that she was in was hopeless from conception. There was never a way to win for her, ever. There was never a mechanism by which she would be able to win the day. And finally, there is tools available for just about anyone, and it's called social media. Social media has made quite a difference in the way certain things have been portrayed in the public sphere. So, unfortunately, Diana did not have that. And it wasn't, if she would have been in the United States, or if she had gone to any other country to live, but, you know, in particular the United States, because people loved her here, um, she'd have been that much better off. But, you know, it's hard to do something like that when your kids are in another country. And her mother, having left the UK, and what did she go to Argentina or wherever she went? Um, I'm pretty sure that that had to be a factor in her wanting to keep those ties in the UK, because she knew that those kids were being raised by monsters, by shapeshifters, if you will. She knew that to totally, remove herself from their lives would have been even worse. So I'm telling you, that is a lot, even for the age Diana was when she died tragically and mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris. Still relatively young, still a girl at heart. And to have the weight of that institution, the tabloid press, and anything else that was working against her was was horrific. She did not have the resources to protect herself from those people. She did not have the resources. Money was not enough. Money was not enough to protect her. She really needed a grassroots campaign on her side, and that just was not available. So that um, will forever, bother me about the whole story, is that there was never fair. It was never a fair fight, which just is what Megan said. I wasn't expecting it to be easy, but I was at least expecting it to be fair. And in an aristocratic society, fairness is it doesn't exist. I mean, every society has a ruling class, but um, when it comes to that type of arrangement, it's as though time has not progressed at all when it comes to the aristocracy and the United Kingdom. People still show so much deference to the landed gentry and the people with titles and such, more so than any place else I can imagine. So, wow. Anyway, let me see. Diana was a strong woman, but needed a Spencer squad. Yeah, but there was no way for people to support her the way we do for Meghan and Harry. Yeah, it just was not possible. It was not possible. And you know, when they say that Diana was trying to use the press and such, Diana was trying to make deals to protect herself. She's trying to make deals to protect herself, and by telling her truth, that was supposedly, to protect her. But it was not enough. It was not enough, and it was never going to be enough, because inevitably Charles was going to be king, and they were going to throw their allegiance behind the crown, because it's not only the fact that that is where the power will focus, is on the crown, but a lot of these people are sycophants. They are people from a higher socioeconomic level that benefit from the connections that they have being in close proximity to the crown. So there was no way that they were ever going to not side with the crown. And it's just it was just unfortunate for Diana that that was where the power was. It was with the crown, and there was just no way for her to fight against that. Not in those days. Like I said, now there's tools, but back then there just wasn't. It just wasn't. She was lied to from the beginning. The whole thing was really predicated on one big lie, the fairy tale of the century. And it just was not the case. Charles was never in on the fairy tale part. He had a duty, and that was it. But the fairy tale, that was, most of the public and Diana. But as for the rest of them, the government, um, the the royal family and such. There was no fairy tale for them. And they didn't do a good job of pretending otherwise. They really did not. So Diana was never really welcomed. She wasn't really thought highly of. They were jealous, bitter. Thank you for your comment. All right. So right here it says William, at the age of 36, physically assaulted and injured Harry and angrily lunged at him in two separate instances. William calling anyone difficult, rude, and abrasive despite his what is that? Dysregulation shows a lack of self-awareness and clear lack of fitness leadership ability. So that was a comment from one of the squatties. I always try to put those in red so I can differentiate them from the other comments. And there you can see C-Lab News, Senior Royal accused short-tempered Prince William of anger issues. And an anonymous royal household figure also says he's difficult to work with. Really? That's interesting. And let's see. And oh, okay, over here. Oh, that is very small, but let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do. Oh, that works. Okay. It also relies upon Williams, and this is from 2021. Yeah. It also relies upon Williams' personal account of these events to one of his friends who then spoke to this author. Really? I bet you that's an interesting book. The only problem is the book didn't they re-edit or something the book? Didn't they like re-release it? And it seemed to be heavily influenced by the palace rather than Robert Lacey. Anyway, the moment the prince heard the bullying allegations, he related to his friend. He's got straight on the phone to talk to Harry. And when Harry flared up in furious defiance, in defense of his wife, the elder brother persisted. Harry shut off his phone angrily, so William went to speak to him personally. The prince was horrified by what, oh, excuse me. Oh boy. He was horrified by what he had just been told about Meghan's alleged behavior, and he wanted to hear what Harry had to say. The showdown between the two siblings was fierce and bitter. You know what? Like I said, the staff was afraid of William. I don't care what this says, the staff was afraid of William. How is it that everyone is saying William has a temper problem, but they were afraid of Meghan? That doesn't make sense. How could it be possible that William is the one with a temper problem and they're supposedly afraid of Meghan? Does that make sense? Does that compute? Anyway, the showdown between the two siblings was fierce and bitter. William pre-engagement questioning of Meghan's suitability had been quite reasonable in William's opinion. His fraternal doubts had been provisional based upon how new recruit appeared to be. The elder brother did not really know Meghan in those early days. I said it before, and I will say it again. William was hoping that he can convince Harry to wait 10 years, like he did with Kate, ensuring that they would likely never have children together. That's what William wanted Harry to wait so that they wouldn't have children, and also wanted them to wait so that he can make sure that his children were already grown and working royals to prevent Harry and his family from taking any shine away from the Shambridges. The Shambridges. I just made that up. The Shambridges. But now William had seen enough of his sister in law to feel sure that sadly he did not, that he did know her, and that many of his reservations linked unhappily with Knopf's colleagues had alleged. Oh God, I can't see that. Anyway, okay, so let me say this. Harry said in his book that he told William, "You sound just like the tabloids." And did we not see a picture of William exiting the helicopter? And what did we see? The Daily Mail in the pocket of the door, along with other papers. And William is just stupid. And I did say stupid. William is just stupid enough to read something in a paper just like the peasants and take it to be the gospel and believe it to be true, because all of the voices murmuring and doubting and working against Meghan gave him reassurance that his thoughts, his predictions were somehow correct. Meanwhile, Meghan is going about her business, doing the work effortlessly. The Oceania tour was a huge success. There was no colonizing images being beamed across the world. People genuinely was fond of them. So there was nothing that Meghan did outside of the palace, and as far as I'm concerned, inside the palace, that warranted William's reaction other than jealousy and bitterness, and that fear that he knew that he wasn't going to be able to control Meghan as he controlled the staff. It was already solidified when they had dinner. The fact that Meghan was not dressed up in a coat dress and doing a curtsy for William and Kate means that that deference did not exist, and it was not likely to ever exist outside of a state occasion. And that probably bothered him. He probably was up gnashing his teeth and unable to sleep because Meghan was wearing torn jeans and baking a chicken or whatever they had for dinner. They were invited to dinner, California style. I mean, they lived just over in the next courtyard. And what happens? Kate shows up, probably in a coat dress. Who goes to Nottingham Cottage dressed up like Mary, Queen of Scots? Kate Middleton, expecting, and I bet you William had already rehearsed in his head and mentioned to her what he expected from Meghan when they got there. And instead, Meghan, torn jeans, barefoot, probably listening to some music or whatever. You know, Meghan is just being herself. And that upset his sensibility. Harry was just being himself, the self that he is with Meghan. And I'm pretty sure Harry has never stood on ceremony with William. I'm pretty sure William had never broke bread with any of Harry's girlfriends before. And so his expectations as a future monarch, not to mention his fragile ego, was bruised. That's what happened. His ego was bruised. I'm pretty sure a lot of it was the whispering campaign, but there had to be elements of it that was based on a lack of deference. He wanted to be Big Willie and have everybody bowing and curtsying to him. And he expected Meghan, the commoner, the actress, he expected Meghan to be in awe of all this nonsense. And what did Meghan say? Well, I mean, I know there's a public face to the monarchy, and that there's all these things that happens in public, but I didn't know that carried on behind closed doors. She thought it was just something they did for show, not something that would be expected if I cooked dinner for my brother and sister-in-law, or future brother and sister-in-law. She wasn't expecting that. And yet, that's what they were expecting. Complete and utter obedience. And they did not get it. And that bothered them. Oh, I bet you they talked about it all night. I'm pretty sure the next time we saw Kate in public, she had plasters all over her fingers and hands. Band-aids for you in the States. I'm pretty sure she was all bandaged up by the next time I'm pretty sure that had it gone on longer, the next time we saw Kate, she would have looked like the mummy. Yeah, she would have looked like a mummy. She'd have been so wrapped and gauzed, and she would have been so wrapped and gauzed and covered. Yeah, you probably wouldn't know it was her. You would have thought it was a remake of The Mummy. So that's just my theory. That is just my theory. Do with it what you will. But I believe that William was expecting a bit more deference, and Harry made it very clear. Aside from my grandma and my father, you don't. You don't. You only curtsy to grandma, and you curtsy to my father, and nobody else. And William didn't like it. He did not like it. This is the William that tried to convince Harry to shave his beard. Ordered him, by the way. Shave your beard. I had to do it. Yep. Okay, I'm going to go back and take a look at a couple of your comments. Let me see. I deeply believe that Harry's success is unbearable to William. He knows that Harry is and has everything that even with the crown, he will never acquire. The typical example of money and power, nada. Okay. Let's see. He's reading what Camilla fed to the tabloids. Beatrice and Dylan, I think that is absolutely brilliant. Yes, because we can't forget that Camilla was likely feeding a lot of stuff to the tabloids. And in her own way, she was, behind a lot of that stuff. Yep, I believe that. Yes, they seem to live and die by what's in the papers. Lex says words like feud and showdown imply it's mutual. Hear, hear. Yeah, Legs, you're right. You got to be very careful of the wording, because the media, the tabloid media, they're not informing people. They're really trying to convince people to think and act and react in a certain way. And I hate to say it, but they have been very successful with that. They have been very successful. Just like I was saying, this, the way that they always throw Hollywood out there when they mention Meghan and a few other people. Hollywood actress, not just an actress, but a Hollywood actress. It is supposed to conjure up a certain emotion, and in a lot of cases, it does. People are being led astray. They're being, walked through certain ranges of emotion because of the media. They do that everywhere. They do that a lot in the US, especially come election time. So I try to tune it out because at election time, they try to convince you that things are going this way or that way, even if the person doesn't stand a chance. Okay. All right. Let me see. Imagine someone who can cook, stylish, intelligent, beautiful, worldly, carefree, confident, rich, and that you are uh, heir, yet your bro has her. Exactly. He wanted Harry to marry a mannequin. He wanted Harry to marry some half-wit. He did. Thank you, Legs. Okay, let me see what I got next here. And then, of course, let us consider this. This was just something that came out of the blue. Now, it is from the Globe, which is an American rag. And of course, we don't look at American tabloids as being credible news. We see them as a bunch of gossip. Now, some things they will get certain things right. But then again, a broken clock is right twice a day. So a certain sector of society is going to have trouble with drink or drugs or whatever. A certain sector of society, any proportion of people will suffer from just about anything. So it doesn't take a genius to say something like that. Whether or not that's his problem, who knows? I don't know. I am not inclined to believe that it is such a thing, but if it is the case, I'm sure it's only part of the story. Um, this individual, William, has been a problem for a long time. People are afraid of him. Um, as a child, he threatened his classmates with destruction. And if he, as a little child, if he had the presence of mind to try to intimidate his classmates because of the weight of the government that's on his side, not that that would have made a difference, but I'm just saying, in his mind, that's what he thought. Imagine what he's like today. Imagine this person, William, believing that whatever he says goes. I can't be wrong. I'm ordained, right? I'm the heir. This is how it's supposed to be. What I say goes. Does anybody think he has enough discipline, enough self awareness to not be a horrible person? I say not. I don't think he has that kind of discipline. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares. I don't think he has much concern about humanity. He has been programmed to be the, I was about to call him something, but he's been programmed to be the person that he is, and that's not going to change. So, right here, the price is right. Now, who knows where these figures come from, but it appears that Charlene of Monaco has the biggest clothing allowance there is. I don't know how Eugenie is supposed to be at about 200,000 euros. I don't see how that's possible. Are they speaking of Eugenie from the House of Windsor, right? For House of York? But let's go back the other way. Marie Stephanie of Monaco, I suppose. Madeline, I forgot where she's from. Mary, that must be Mary of Denmark. Is that Medi Merritt? Whoever that is. Mathilde? Mathide? Ugh. Maxima. Okay. Letizia. Victoria of Sweden. Marie Chantal. I don't know where she's from. Sophia. That's Norway. Olympia. I don't know where she's from. And Sophie. tell me they're not talking about Sophie Wessex. Please tell me Sophie Wessex hasn't spent 100,000 euros on clothes. Tell me that that cannot be Sophie Wessex. And then, of course, they have Meghan, Maria Theresa, Beatrice, Kate, Eugenie, Charlene. Beatrice? Beatrice. I'm not saying it's impossible, but, and you know, this cannot be accurate for one very good reason. In comparison to other members of the family, we've only seen Meghan in public a handful of times in comparison. So, how much Meghan has spent, what she has spent money on, whether or not she's already owned, or if she's even paid for these things. Because look at it like this. Harry and Meghan are no longer working royals. And so if you're working royal, a term that was made up when the Sussexes left, then you have certain rules about accepting gifts, and that includes clothing. Allegedly, they're not supposed to receive a gift of clothing. They're supposed to pay for everything. But because the Sussexes are no longer in Narnia, is it possible that Meghan may have been gifted something? Or has she paid the regular price? Nobody knows. The point is, nobody knows. But if she would like to accept a gift, I don't see anything wrong with it. Now, I have said many times that the Sussexes have not done anything outside of what a Duke and Duchess of the House of Windsor are likely to do. Like, for instance, they have conducted themselves with a high level of respectability, as they would have naturally, as they should have as members of the royal family. I'm not going to say writing a book and ratting out your family for being abusive means that you have stepped outside of the lines, because Charles has co-authored a book or ghost-written a book or whatever about his own troubles with his family. So he ratted out his family too. So all I'm saying is it doesn't matter. They have not done anything improper as Duke and Duchess. Not one single thing. They have not caused embarrassment to that family based on their behavior or conduct in public. Not one bit. There hasn't been any public intoxication. There hasn't been, there's been anything. They have not accepted gifts that they should not have received. They haven't received a Folsom and Mason bag full of money, right? They have not collected the estate of a dead person and then used the money to improve their house. Yeah, they haven't accepted any money from a dead person and used that money to add a new wing to their house or something like that, or improve their gardens. They haven't done that. Charles has. So, they pay income tax. Charles doesn't. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Lynn Webley says Royal Sussex should nominate Harry for a Nobel Peace Prize. I wish I could. I wish I could. Let me see. Who? Why would they put Madeline on this? And her husband pays for. I don't know. I don't know. It was a weird list. I say take it with a grain of salt. I don't think that the list should be taken seriously at all. Let me see. Okay, let me move on. So right here, the Washington Post has been bleeding out journalistic talent for days since Jeff Bezos hired Will Lewis, a former editor of the Telegraph, a right-wing broadsheet in the UK, to become Washington Post or WAPO's new CEO. It appears to be doing staff buyouts and layoffs. So, did you hear that? People are jumping ship because Jeff Bezos has brought this person in. People are jumping ship at the Washington Post. Now, I was hoping for good things for Washington Post, but now that he's there, and of course, he was brought in by Rupert Murdoch to stop the bleeding years ago when his publishing empire was facing, the phone hacking stuff or whatever. So now he's at the Washington Post. The print media is a dying, well, the print news media, newspapers, is a dying industry. They do a lot of stuff online, of course, and that has been their savior. But still, there are so many other news sources. There are so many independent voices out there providing news coverage that the weight of the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the even the New York Times, the weight of those news groups are just not the same. There are a lot of historic newspapers across the United States that have provided amazing coverage for decades, over a century in some cases. But that's just not the world we live in now. People don't always look at them as being so credible. So this guy is likely brought in to bring sensationalism to the Washington Post in order to save it. And that's a shame because instead of saving the paper, they're losing a lot of talent. So, and with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much for joining us on Royal Sussex. And thank you, moderators, for constantly keeping this the safe space that it is. Certainly needed. Thank you again, TCC Son, for being incredibly helpful and thoughtful. And hopefully, I can have everything sorted by this weekend. And let's see what else. Oh, yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I said. Okay, let me see. Martine, most people get the news from social media. The old media is no longer credible news. Yeah, because they have been compromised, and nothing demonstrates that better than the last few wars that have been fought, right? Um, Especially like with the Gulf War. When we went through the Gulf War, there was a lot of misinformation and propaganda. As a matter of fact, I would say that a lot of these newspapers have just become propaganda, even here in the United States. I mean, there are still a few great papers, and the New York Times being one of them. But on so many occasions, Rupert Murdoch and his kind have bought out these papers, not that they are so much looking for profit as they want to control the politics of the day. They want to dictate society. They want to change the rules of engagement. There's a lot of things that are satisfied other than profits from some of these people buying these publishing companies. I mean, they buy newspapers, they buy books, they buy television and radio. What does that tell you besides they're trying to control the hearts and minds of people, right? Rupert Murdoch is just the face of a much, much bigger problem. And of course, there's other people, which is why I'm so disappointed with Jeff Bezos for bringing that horrible person in to finish off that paper. But people are better informed about who owns what and who's doing what. People know enough about Rupert Murdoch that they know the game. The only people that give him credibility are the right wing people that would have voted for Trump or would have supported Brexit. Those are the people that support them. Those are the people that keep those papers afloat. And that's why they have a fraction of the readership or the viewers that they had years ago. They have only a fraction of it. And they're all shrinking, right? They're all shrinking. Let me see. So gross, not surprised. Okay. All right. Well, again, happy birthday, Susie Q. Thank you so much for sharing your birthday with us. And okay, so an hour and 45 minutes. You all get off easy tonight. Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, let me do this. Thank you so much, Black Queen. Legs, 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 legs. Thank you all for your super chats or super stickers. I guess they're all super stickers. And as always, our queens are definitely watching over the Sussexes. So worry not. Be not your heart worried. They are protected and are also protected by your many, many prayers. So we have that to look to. I could take a hint. Foghorn incoming. Foghorn straight away. You know I love it. It doesn't take much encouragement. Let me see here. Where is that foghorn? Ready? Here it goes. One more time. Oh boy. You're no good. You're no good. You're no good. Baron, you're no good. I want to say it again. You're no good. You're no good. You're no good. Baron, you're no good. Thank you. Thank you. Good night, everybody. As a matter of fact, that is our last word for the day. Yes, that's our last word of the day. Oh man. When it comes to anniversaries, which anniversary is leather? Which anniversary is leather? The only reason why I say that because I can think of at least one person who does not have to go out and buy any leather. Don't even have to buy any leather. Just show up. Just show up. That's all the leather you need. Okay, I gotta stop. I'm being petty and silly and so out of character for me. Actually, that is my character, but I digress. All right, so love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And now I am going to let's do Once Upon a Time. You know, I love Once Upon a Time. Yes, we will close it out with Once Upon a Time.